It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at the expansion to Seven Wonders Duel, a fantastic two-player game, Seven Wonders Duel Pantheon, which gives you a bunch of new options, lets you invoke divinities that you are now placing on the board. You will then be able to trigger those divinities for money typically, and again gives you just a bunch of new actions you can take. So let me give you a look at how this works, and let's find out if this adds to the base game, which as I said I found to be very solid, or if it's too much, if it detracts from that experience. Here we go. The main objective of the game remains the same, and players can still win in one of the three original ways. However, we are adding the Pantheon into the game, which is going to change your options, and it adds a variation to each of the three ages in the game. So, besides that, you are going to get a couple of new wonders here. You get 3 of these tokens, 3 new ones. You get, of course, the gods of the Pantheon, which are these. Several tokens here, and then a few new cards for the third age that would replace the guilds from the original game, all right? So, each age goes like this. During the first one, we are going to set up like normal, and as you can see on your screen here, we put out some of these tokens on some of the cards, and as someone reveals that card, whoever takes the card below it and reveals that card would then take this token. And so let's say this is the one that is revealed first. That player would go over here to the gods. They would draw the top through, the 2, there's 3 of each. Draw the top 2. You would take a look at these 2. You would keep one, and you would place it, returning the other one, somewhere in the Pantheon, in one of these spaces. Now, these spaces, for the second age, are going to denote new powers you can take, and depending on where you put it, sets its value. So let's say I'm sitting over here, okay? If I place this card right here, I am saying that later on I can buy this power and trigger it for 3 coins, and my opponent can buy and trigger it for 8. If I set it here, for example, it would be 5 to me, 6 to my opponent, and so on. Generally, of course, if I really like the power, I'll set it closer to myself. And this is going to continue. I'll keep that token, by the way. And then my opponent, let's say they reveal this token on one of the cards that is flipped face up. And so again, they would go to these cards, they would draw 2, they would take a look at those 2 cards. I'll show you these in just a sec, a few of them anyway. They would pick the one they like, they would set it somewhere in the Pantheon, and return the other to its proper deck. This continues until these are filled except for 1, and in that last space, we are going to put the gate. So let's say it's there, okay? And that is going to complete H1. Then we set up for H2. And during that one, we are going to reveal all of these cards. And so it might look something like this, let's say. And then the gate itself. Maybe one here. And then that one there. There we go. So it would look something like that. And then we set up the second age, again with these tokens on some of the cards, which are discounts to triggering the cards up in the Pantheon. And during that second age onwards, we have a new option on your turn. You can do the original 3 options, okay? You can take a card and build it. You can take a card and discard it for gold, or you can take a card and build a wonder with it. Now you have a new option, which takes no card, which is very important because it throws off the rhythm of the game. You can take one of these cards, buy it, trigger it, and be done with it. And so that new power allows you to do whatever these cards say, except for the door here, the gate to the door, which is slightly different. This one, you would pay twice as much as what's listed. And so again, if I'm sitting here, I would pay 10. And then I draw the top card from all of the stacks of gods here, the top one from all of them, and I trigger one of those. Very powerful, very expensive. All right? And if you have a discount, again, you can apply that discount if you've grabbed one of these, just like you grabbed the tokens from the first stage, you can use it as a one-time discount for anything up here. Once one of these is purchased and used, that player can keep it. It would be gone from the Pantheon, and we continue playing. And then finally, during the third age, the difference there is, as I said, these new cards, which replace the guilds, and they are much simpler. They are all basically identical. They all give you, if you have a single one of them, 5 victory points at the end of the game. If you have 2 of them, you get 12 victory points for the set. And if you have 3, you get 21 for the set. And the way you get them is you pay for them, and they have varying costs. Or, if you have one of these tokens from earlier in the game that matches what the card would like, well, you can get it for free. All right? So that's the way these work, and they are very straightforward. So that's it. That's the general flow of the game. I'm not going to go into the new tokens or the new wonders too much, but I do want to show you a couple of these gods, so let's take a look at that. So here we have all the divinity cards, and they are from different mythologies. We have Greek and Phoenician, Mesopotamian, Egyptian, and Roman, and each one sort of has its own flavor. Each one sort of deals with different things. Like, for example, the Phoenicians here are going to deal with money largely, okay? So, just to give you a look at some of them, I am going to be referencing the handy-dandy rulebook here, which gives you, at the end of the rulebook, a breakdown of what every card does. It's very handy, and it is very, very clear to understand what each one does. But basically, 9 victory points here for Aphrodite. We have Hades, who lets you take a card that's been discarded and build it for free. And Zeus, that lets you put a card in the discard pile of your choice, face up or face down, from the structure. So you get to destroy one that is yet to be taken. If there's any tokens on it, also gone. We have over here 12 coins, obviously, just straight up 12 coins. This one lets you put 7 coins on here. They are safe. You can spend them like regular coins, but every coin you don't spend by the end of the game is also worth a victory point. And then finally, this one lets you steal a brown or a gray card from your opponent and give it to yourself. So yes, as you can see, really powerful stuff in here. This one lets you, when you play it out here, oh, you can't see that. When you put it out here, and then it is flipped face up at the beginning of the second age, you would put 2 tokens on it, like so. And then it is going to, when you take it, you are going to keep one of the 2 tokens, all right? That's basically what that does. This one gives you that token there, and you are going to put it on an opponent's green card, and she is worth that same symbol to you if you own that card. So you're copying a symbol, and then this one is that scientific symbol. So this one showed up on one of the original tokens here. Let me see if I find it. There it is. It's the same as that token there. So there's another way to get that different scientific symbol now. Then over here we have Ra, that lets you steal an unbuilt level, or an unbuilt monument, rather, wonder. We have Anubis here that lets you discard a previously used card to construct a wonder. And then this one that lets you choose a card from the discard pile and construct one of your wonders for free, okay? I think Anubis I might have misexplained there. You discard a card previously used to construct a wonder, either your own or an opponent's, and then you lose the instant powers on that, but it can be rebuilt later. Pretty cool. Very powerful stuff, again. And then these, very simple, a couple of those military symbols. That token, which is a cool new plastic token here, you can put this on the military track, and the next time that the military token would advance, it stops at this place, like right before this, and then you remove that token. And then finally, this one that is really strong, it lets you break a token from down here. You can break one and discard it, and then you can do another one and apply it to your opponent. So very, very strong Neptune there. So that's basically it. Quite a few new options, lots going on. Very different vibe to the whole thing, really, once you add that expansion in. So that's basically it. Let's go back up top. Let me give you some final thoughts. The original game of Seven Wonders Duel is one that I found to be rich in tactics, tension, lots of interesting choices. It's a wonderful game. The expansion here gives you more content. It certainly adds complexity, choices, but I think that very much translates into tactics, which takes the game to a new level. This really does enhance the game. And if you are someone that has played Seven Wonders Duel a lot, and you are looking to break the pattern, so to speak, this is it right here. This is absolutely going to do that. The original thought of mine was that having only 3 divinities per mythology was not going to be enough, that there was just not going to be that much variety there. But it allows for you to learn the system and manipulate it. If there was 15 of each, you would just not know what's possible, Knowing that there's only 3, and you could very well look at all 3 in a game, gives you the ability to manipulate the game a little bit. And I love that in this game, you can now pull off surprises that were not as easy to do in the original base game. What I mean by that is, in the original game, if you could see something coming a couple of rounds away. There were no surprise moments, sort of. In this game, you can pull off surprise moments, which I think are fun, I love being able to find myself in a tight spot and then buying the door and triggering something that seems to come out of nowhere and boom, I just changed the game state. Or being able to count the cards, knowing I'm going to give my opponent something I don't want, and breaking that pattern by buying one of the cards in the Pantheon. And since that does not take a card from the structure, breaking that pattern again. And that's what I really like about it. It's very cool the way it flows, the way it makes each of the ages feel different now. They each have sort of a sub-game going on with the tokens in there. And so I think this very much elevates the original game. I would recommend it. Would I play with it all the time? No, probably not. If I'm teaching the game to someone that's never played, I think I'll leave this out. But if I'm playing with someone that's familiar with the system, wants to really get into some good tactics, they're going to get it right here. So I'm very much giving this one a seal of excellence. Seven Wonders Duel Pantheon. If you like the base game, this is a must-buy.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.